He listened carefully. The soft whir of a ventilation fan, hints of conversation, unintelligible, his own heartbeat. None of the background power plant hum that permeated the spaceships he'd been on. Gravity felt as normal as his senses could judge. Recognizing facts, spotting patterns, drawing inferences. He managed, but slowly, as though his thoughts swam through syrup. Traces of drugs remained in his system. He forced himself to concentrate. If this was a ship, it was still on Earth. Someone meant to panic him, Sigmund decided. Someone wanted something from him. Until they got it, he'd probably remain alive. They. For as long as Sigmund could remember, there had always been some they to worry about. But even as Sigmund formed that thought, he knew always wasn't quite correct. In the beginning, they were unambiguous enough. The Kzinti. The Third Man-Kzin War broke out in 2490, the year Sigmund was born. He was 5 before he knew what a Kzin was, something like an upright orange cat, taller and much bulkier than a man, with a naked rat-like tail. By then, the aliens had been defeated. The Kzinti Patriarchy ceded 2 colony worlds to the humans as reparations. In Sigmund's lifetime, they had attacked human worlds 3 more times. They'd lost those wars, too. Fafnir was one of the worlds that changed hands after the Third War. His parents had wanderlust and not a trace of flatland phobia. They left him in the care of an aunt and went to Fafnir in 2500 for an adventure. And found one. Conflict erupted that year between humans on Fafnir and the Kzinti settlers who had remained behind. His parents vanished, in hostilities that failed to rise to the level of a numeral in the official reckoning of Man-Kzin wars. It was a mere border incident. Everyone knew the Kzinti ate their prey. So they, for a long time, were Kzinti. Sigmund hated the rat cats, and everyone understood, and he hated his parents for abandoning him. The grief counselors told his aunt that that was normal. And he hated his aunt as much as she reminded him of Mom, or perhaps because she did, for allowing Mom and Dad to leave him with her. The same year his parents disappeared, the Puppeteers emerged from behind the rim of human space. A species more unlike the Kzinti could not be imagined. Puppeteers looked like 2-headed, 3-legged wingless ostriches. The heads on their sinuous necks reminded him of sock puppets. The brain, Aunt Susan told him, hid under the thick mop of mane between the massive shoulders. So they came to include these other aliens, these harmless-seeming newcomers, because Sigmund didn't believe in coincidence. And then they came to include all aliens, because, really, how could anyone truly know otherwise? That was when Aunt Susan took him to a psychotherapist. Sigmund remembered the stunned look on her face after his first session. After, she spoke alone with the therapist. Sigmund remembered her sobbing all that night in her bedroom. He had a sickness, or sicknesses, he couldn't spell, much less understand. A paranoid personality disorder. Monothematic delusion with delusional misidentification syndrome. He didn't know if he believed the supposed silver lining, that it was treatable. What Sigmund did believe was the other consolation Dr. Swenson offered Aunt Susan, that paranoia is an affliction of the brightest. In time, Sigmund understood. Trauma can cause stress, can cause biochemical imbalances, can cause mental illness. A day and a night asleep in an autodock corrected the biochemical imbalance in his brain. But a single chemical tweak wasn't enough. Knowing the world is out to get you is its own stress. 3 months of therapy with Dr. Swenson addressed the paranoid behaviors Sigmund had already learned. Dr. Swenson was right. Sigmund was very smart. Smart enough to figure out what the therapist wanted to hear. Smart enough to learn what thoughts to keep to himself. Trembling, Sigmund tried again to shake off the drugs. Reliving old horrors served no useful purpose, especially now. He needed to focus. Start with them. They weren't Kzinti. The room was too small. Kzinti would have gone crazy. They wanted something from him. How he responded might be the only control he had in this situation. Who might they be? Others might see in him only a middle-aged, mid-level financial analyst, a United Nations bureaucrat, a misanthrope dressed always in black, in a world where everyone else wore vibrant colors. Sigmund saw more. All those years ago, Dr. Swenson had been far more correct than he knew. Sigmund was more than bright. He was brilliant.